My name is Christopher Armstrong, and this is a testimonial for Mike Salemi's Bags and Bells live workshops. So, before I get into the testimonial itself, I just want to give everybody a brief story on how I found Mike. Essentially I didn't even know who he was, but I'd say 2 years ago, so maybe a year before the COVID pandemic shut the world down, I was actually looking for a way to work out affordably and with minimal equipment from home. And that's when I looked at kettlebell training. I just needed training equipment from home. I cut my gym membership. I was looking for a way to have minimal equipment but have maximal effect. And I came across Mike Salemi on Mind Pump. Mind Pump had a few kettlebell training workshops that were great. Mike was part of those workshops. And something that stood out to me about Mike was his enthusiasm for his craft, the way that he explained things. He just was really awesome at showing technique. He's a formed scientist. He just seemed like he was really just jazzed up, and you could just feel the excitement for kettlebell training. And then I found out that he was a kettlebell world champion, a master of sport. And so I looked him up, I was really impressed with his strength. I was really impressed with his technique. I've seen tons of other guys doing tutorials on kettlebell training, claiming to be experts, claiming to, know the secrets of kettlebells, from the Russians to Americans to all over. And, Mike he really stood out to me. Honestly, I'm not being paid for this testimonial. Mike asked me to do it. I am happy to do it. I'm happy to speak praises of Mike and his Bags and Bells workshop because it basically changed my life. Honestly, when I took it. And Mike was doing things in a progressive way that I've never seen anyone else train. The Russian guys were really stiff. Mike was kind of integrating different movements. He was integrating different ways of using bells that I've never seen before. So I said, hey, let me check out this guy. Let me see what more he has up to. So I found him on Instagram, and he had obviously a lot of kettlebell training work, and it was just really phenomenal. And then I saw him swinging around this guy here, this really big, lamb-shaped piece of leather, and I thought, what the heck is that thing? And it just really stopped me, and it really stopped me in my tracks, and I thought, okay, I want to check out more about that. And Mike was doing these Bulgarian bag training sessions on his Instagram page. He was doing kettlebells with Bulgarian bags, and what ended up happening was COVID shut down completely, and I already kind of started following him on Instagram at that point. So COVID shut the world down completely. Everybody was just kind of a standstill. All the gyms shut down in America, here in America where I'm at. All the gyms shut down, and you weren't available to train at the gym. And then Mike kind of came in, and he was doing these 30 days of COVID morning workshops or morning workout on Instagram Live. And, that was the first time that I was able to actually meet Mike, or at least converse with him over messaging on Instagram. And I thought, hey, this is cool. He's actually willing to give his time every single morning. He came on for 30 days, and he was basically mixing all these techniques with the bags, with the bells. And it blew my mind, the way that he did different stretches, warm up, decompression, the way that he kind of holistically kind of combined these programs were just something that I've never really seen before. And essentially what happened was there were so many people that were interested in these live workouts that Mike was doing. They said, hey Mike, why don't you start a Patreon page? So people were getting so much value out of it, so much benefit out of these morning workshop programs that Mike was giving out for free, that essentially they were asking him for a paid class, or to at least to support him to keep making these kind of content. And at the time I was really wanting to meet Mike in person already anyway. I was following him for months at that time on Instagram, and I was hoping to maybe go up to San Jose. I know he offered a few bags and kettlebell certification, and he also did training courses with the bags and the Bulgarian bag, and the kettlebell. So I was thinking, hey, that'd be nice if I could go up to San Jose and go meet Mike, but I'm down here in Southern California and Long Beach area, and that was just really hard to sync up, really hard to kind of make it out there. So then once COVID shut everything down, it was kind of like a silver lining, I would say, if there was one, you know, because Mike was doing these Instagram lives, and it basically felt like you were there with Mike, training with him. You could ask him questions. He was totally willing to answer everybody's questions. You know, he was funny. He was just doing fun stuff, like very personable, very easy to relate to. And I thought, hey, this is cool. You know, this is the next best thing to actually meeting Mike in person. And I was stoked on it. I really thought it was fun. And when I heard everyone else say, hey, you know, like, you start a Patreon, I thought, yeah, that'd be brilliant. So, you know, Mike is pretty much the only one that I've seen combine Bulgarian bags with kettlebells, and it's damn effective. So then he started these workshops or these live virtual workouts, and I was one of the early adopters. I signed up on day one, and he basically had one platform and then transitioned it to Zoom workouts. But you know, what it felt like to me was the Zoom classes. It felt like you were working out with people from around the world. You know, we had people from Ireland, we had people from California, we had people from all across the United States, you know, from the Middle East. There was all these people that were just really passionate, and all these different time zones, but they were willing to make it work because they know the level that Mike is at. I mean, Mike basically is the Bruce Lee of Bulgarian bags and kettlebells, if I could say it that way. I'm a huge martial arts fan. I've been following Bruce Lee's work, reading a lot of his books since I was young. And Bruce Lee was always constantly trying to test himself. He was always trying to push the limits on not only human performance, but the just self-defense, martial arts, trying different techniques. He was a mad scientist. He was always trying to, you know, experiment, iterate, make things a little incrementally better. And that's exactly what I see in Mike. Mike constantly experiments. I mean, he's the mad scientist, and whenever you meet him virtually on these live Zoom classes, the Bulgarian bag and the bags and bells, his garage that he broadcasts from is like his dojo. So every time you step into the dojo with Mike, you're learning something that he's learning at the same time that you're learning, because he's trying something new and he's experimenting, and he rotates the menu. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant and the menu changes all the time. So that's what he does. He changes it up, you know, he makes it fun, he makes it fresh, he makes it exciting. I feel like I've learned so much the 7 months that I've been doing the program. And the biggest thing for me is I was always kind of on the hunt as an author and as an independent publisher, as an entrepreneur. I'm currently working on building my startup company, which is unnamed at the moment. But you know, I don't really have time to go to the gym. This was before COVID. You know, now that gyms are opening back up, I still feel like I'm just going to work out with this guy, the Bulgarian bag, and the kettlebell, because the combination is unbeatable. And I didn't really have time to go to the gym. I mean, you know, when you go to the gym, you got to drive to the gym. You got to drive back from the gym. You know, if you take a shower at the gym, that's another whole nother story. You see a bunch of butt naked people in the locker room. You know, we won't even get into that. But so, you know, you have to drive to the gym, drive back. You know, a lot of times the machines are being used. You don't really get a workout on the machines that you want to use, depending on what time you go and how packed it is. But with the bag and the kettlebell, you can work out from home whenever you want, and you don't have to drive to the gym. You don't have to drive back. You save a lot of time. I feel like it's perfect for me. It's the ballistics training combined with the rotational training, the benefits that you get. I mean, that's one of the things that struck me about Mike when I first found him on some of his YouTube videos. He did I think it was some training camps for some martial arts training camps, and basically, you know, the strength and the power and just the functionality of his movements were something that really stood out to me. So then I found out that, okay, he trains kind of in the style that wrestlers would train. Even Suples, the brand that makes the maker of the Bulgarian bag, they're a wrestling kind of company that trains Olympic level wrestlers. And once I found that out, like, okay, Mike is training these martial arts guys, he's training wrestlers, a lot, you know, and part of the live classes you have martial arts trainers, Muay Thai kickboxers. You've got all people from all kind of walks of life in the class, like professionals, athletes, trainers, and everyone's just trying to get fit. You know, it's very inspiring being around people that just want to get fit. They're constantly upping their game every single week. And I just think it's an awesome class. I think that anybody that hasn't tried it, hasn't tried the actual Bulgarian bag or tried the kettlebell in combination, it's mind blowing, because you get the rotational element, but then you also get the weightlifting element, you get the ballistics training element, and the way that Mike combines everything. So the biggest aspect for me personally when I signed up for the classes was the programming. So, I've tried a lot of different modalities when it comes to working out with weights. When it comes to weight training, I've done going to the gym, doing the hypertrophy, kind of like 3x10 reps cycles, doing that over and over again. And the biggest thing for me when I did that kind of traditional kind of bodybuilder training modality or workout routine or regimen is that I feel like every time that I would work out, every time that I would go to the gym and get back out, like the next day, it would take me like a full day just to kind of recover. And I know what's going on, you're tearing down your muscles so that they could build themselves back up. But what that would happen was I'd be sore for the entire day and maybe 2 days afterwards, and it feels like I would just kind of try to work back up to gaining more energy. And that's kind of terrible. Like if you're working in an office or you're working as an executive or you work, you're building your own company, it's terrible, kind of lacking that kind of energy, So with Mike's classes, the way that he programs the workouts, like I don't really have the best way to explain it, but so he always incorporates a warm-up, which is very thorough, and then he incorporates the full workout program, and then after the workout program he does the Eldoa stretches. And before meeting Mike or before learning about the program and being part of the classes and being integrated into all this family, I didn't really know what Eldoas was. I didn't know what myofascial stretches was. I didn't know about kind of some of these workouts or some of these warm-ups that he was doing. And the way that he integrates everything, I just feel like I learned so much. Like you're gonna learn so much by joining the class. It's gonna blow your mind how much you're gonna learn. You're gonna feel a lot better. You're gonna feel a lot stronger. You're gonna feel like you're gonna be able to defend yourself, kind of like in a self-defense situation or a street fight. You feel more functional. So I feel like the body as a complete whole all the muscles feel stitched together, which is kind of the whole holistic training modality that Mike and his mentor Paul Chek teaches, which is different than the whole bodybuilding routine where you build up parts of your body and one part might be off balance, other part might not be balanced well. So the programming that Mike offers is bar none. I mean, it's second to none. I feel like that's one of the biggest things when I'm trying to do workouts myself, is just trying to figure out the programming, like the workout, the WOD, or the workout of the day as they call it in CrossFit. Mike does that for you. So that's the huge benefit of joining these live training sessions, is that Mike does the programming for you. All you got to do is follow along. And I feel like every single workout, I think that most of the people in the class, they're all blown away by how good they feel afterwards. I mean, just the feeling that your body has after you work out with the Bulgarian bag and the kettlebell, and the way that Mike pushes you and the way that he programs the workouts, like you just feel phenomenal afterwards. So instead of feeling drained, like when I went to the gym and did the barbell, kind of Olympic barbell training, traditional workouts, like when doing these kind of unconventional functional training with Mike, I feel like I'm rejuvenated. I have more energy. I'm ready to take on the world. I'm ready to. It just puts you in a better mind state. I just feel like your brain and your hormones and your body, they just feel amazing, and your endorphins are going. So I just feel like there's no reason why anyone shouldn't join. I mean, all you need is a Bulgarian bag, a couple of sets of kettlebells. Mike kind of does it in a way that you can join at different levels, and from beginner to intermediate to advanced. And the thing about Mike is, I feel like he's just he's at a different level than most trainers or coaches that I've seen in the health and fitness world. Most of the guys that I've seen, or gals, they're kind of doing things in the same way. They're not really offering anything new to the table. And then also I feel like Mike cares. Like he gives a damn. He gives a damn about the people that are in the class. That's why I feel like I was always wanting to take like a live class before COVID hit with Mike in San Jose, because the way that he was responding on Instagram, the way that he was getting back to me and my messages, I just felt like he cared. He cared about people's health. He cares about helping the people that want to train and get healthier. I don't really see that a lot in the health and fitness world. And he's generous with his time. he always answers any kind of questions that people have after the class. I feel like what he does really well is it's when you take the virtual class, it's like, because he has a kettlebell lifestyle program that's already kind of pre-recorded, you to follow along. That's great. I've tried that program. I have it myself. But I feel like the next progression of that, next level up, is the Bags and Bells live workouts. And there's nothing like the live experience, because when you're on the Zoom class, basically when you're doing a workout or a movement, or you're doing a certain lift, like Mike or Bridget, who recently started on the classes as well, Mike can actually check your form, and he can see, hey, you're doing this a little bit too low, or you need to raise your chin up, or raise your chest up a little bit. So he'll check your form. It's like having a virtual coach online, and that's great because you can't really check yourself out in the mirror when you're doing your own workouts. And Lauren, his partner, is part of the workouts as well, so she does the workouts with everyone, and Mike looks at her form. He makes corrections on her. I mean, Mike's a perfectionist. Like I said, he's a mad scientist. He's a perfectionist at what he does, and he's constantly looking for little minor tweaks, like how to incrementally make things better and better. Like whether it's your technique, whether it's your form, whether it's your your breathing, like it's just your pacing. Like he always kind of tries to drive home, you need to pace yourself. That comes from him being in competition. Like that comes from him being a champion athlete, a master of sport. Like in the world of kettlebell sport, he had to manage his energy to be a champion and to do the sport lifting. So all these things, like you're learning from a champion athlete, and I just feel like I've learned so much from Mike. Just the generosity there, the care for everybody, the attention that he gives you, the live workout, the camaraderie that you build with the other people in the class, like the people that you get to meet. Any kind of question that you have, Mike is always more than willing to answer it. He, the way that he kind of phases the workout routines as well, like. He'll always add the warm-up, and then after the warm-up, he'll add a skills training technique. So, he'll work on, for the total newbies, he'll show them how to do drills and how to do the technique correctly and do the proper form. And then after that, like he'll just get into it, then you have your ass kicker workout, and that's martial arts style, like functional training. Even like I could see some guys in the military really, Mike trains firefighters. He trains, I believe, police officers, maybe, but I know firefighters for sure. So, I could see like anybody that has like any kind of functional need, whether it's their job, whether it's their work, or even in life, you want to be more functional, you want to be more fit holistically. I feel like this is the class for you. I mean, there's really not much more praise I could give to him. I mean, Mike is the man. Mike is a champion. He's great. Like not just at him being good at training himself and being good and fit himself, but the way that he explains things. He's not just a trainer, or he's not just a guy that's fit and knows great techniques. He's a brilliant teacher. He has a teacher's heart. He's willing to share information. He's willing to help people. And I feel like the impact that he's making on people's lives is great. I mean, you could see that in the 30 days of COVID morning workouts. And then a lot of those people that were in those 30 days of COVID live Instagram lives, they've actually transitioned to the live Bulgarian bag classes, and they've been with it for as long as I have, since day one. So, I mean, if such as a testimonial, Mike, I'm gonna have to give you a little bit of those were all the pros and why it's an awesome class. But if I could kind of give it any kind of feedback, one thing that I wish, right now it's once a week on Monday mornings, or not Monday mornings, Wednesday mornings, sorry. It's once a week. What I would like to see is to have more times a week. So if the class was available to people different times out of the week, and they can kind of join in, which is most convenient to their schedule. I mean, a lot of these people that are from around the world, they're battling different time zones. A lot of times you're not really feeling motivated at certain times. So, like having that live experience is definitely, that's what you want to sign up for this class for, so you can actually see Mike work out with him live, get that live experience, meet everyone else. It motivates you too. I feel like it's definitely a kick in the ass. It's a motivator because you know that when you're signing up for this class, you have to show up. If you don't show up, you're not going to get the full experience. You're not going to have Mike check your form. You're not going to have Mike give you critiques, or you're not going to be able to ask him questions. So, that's the benefit of having a live class. And I feel like that's one of the main selling points of this. And I feel like that's one of the main value points. And Mike is awesome. Like I said, he's an amazing instructor. He cares about people. He wants to see you get fitter. He wants to see you level up. And he's always adding new things. Like a mad scientist, he's adding new techniques. He's trying out new things. So, the things that I've learned in the class, I incorporate those outside of the class as well. Whenever I'm doing my own training, primarily with the Bulgarian bag and the kettlebell nowadays. But when I'm doing my own training, I try to incorporate some of those lessons and stretches and techniques and modalities that I actually learned in the class itself with Mike and with Lauren. And it's amazing. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about it. I highly recommend anybody check it out that's trying to get fitter, that's trying to be more lean, that's trying to be more confident, that's trying to fix a lot of these kind of preventive measures rather than trying to do it through correction or through surgery. I feel like trying to go to the doctor all the time it gets expensive, and it's the same thing as like when you have a car. When you're driving a car, you don't take care of that car, you don't do the maintenance, you don't change the oil, you don't put air in the tires, you just drive the crap out of the thing. Things are going to break down, and when things break, then you got to take it to the mechanic, and then it gets expensive from there, and sometimes you have to replace a part, you have to get a whole new part. So, the preventive measures, just doing the preventative maintenance and rather than the corrective through surgery or what have you, or medication, I feel like that's the way to go. If people just got that message from Mike and his mentor, Paul Chek, I feel like more people will be healthy, more people will be feeling well, especially in stressful times like these when we're still kind of getting out of the pandemic. I feel like it's really good for health, mental health. It's good for people that might have depression. It's really good for anybody that wants to feel better, they want to look better, they want to present themselves better. They want to feel stronger, they want to feel ready, they want to feel like they're ready for anything, they can tackle anything, they feel like they can defend themselves. I feel like this is who the class is for. So I can't really recommend it highly enough to anybody, men and women, whatever fitness level you may be. You might be strong, super athlete, or you might be, stay-at-home mom, or you might be, dad who's taking care of the kids, just want some greater strength so you can pick them up and, not throw out your back. Like this is what this is for. And I feel like there's no better instructor than Mike. Mike is on a whole different level than any other trainer that I've ever seen or come across. And I feel like he's knowledgeable, he shares his information, he's always open to answering questions, and he's the man. Like I said, he's the Bruce Lee of kettlebell training, of Bulgarian bag sports. There's really no one that I've seen combine the Bulgarian bag and the kettlebell at, period, but not quite like Mike. Like Mike does it in a way that just it's seamless, and I feel like it just works. Like, so whether you want to build muscle or whether you want to be lean or you want to just have that functional strength, I feel like Mike is your man, and the bags and bells class is the way to go. Like I said, I couldn't recommend it highly enough. And 2 thumbs up from this happy guy. All I can say is that Mike, I hope you never stop making these. I hope that you make them forever and do the live classes forever, and you keep doing them because people around the world are very inspired. People around the world, they get jazzed up seeing Mike. The thing about Mike is he's very enthusiastic. He's very, he's a geek. He's a nerd. But he's passionate about all this. Like, he's extremely passionate about his craft. And to me, that's inspiring, seeing somebody so passionate about their craft, because Mike's enthusiasm for what he does is infectious. Every time I see Mike on a live class, it makes me more motivated. It makes me want to push my level. It makes me want to explore my body, my physicality, my physical fitness, and a lot of that's because of Mike. And what else can I say? 2 thumbs up. Join the class, and maybe I'll see you eventually in a live class.